and Ardoth will just nod to that.
Talking
Varys
at
will
you. It's a
go
pleasure talking
collect the
at you.
sticks.
Yeah.
As Varys leaves and you're watching him get up from the table and walk away and out to the door of the inn, what is Ardoth thinking?
Ooh. He's trying to get. He's trying to put pieces together about strange things are happening, but they don't seem to have any commonality, and this is another strange thing that he's just witnessed. Relatively benign, but yeah.
Right.
How does that all fit together?
And Varys, as you walk out the door, before you walk out the door, you hold the door handle and you look over at that mural, and you do think to yourself, someday you'll be on that mural. You open the door. For those of you who don't know,
right.
there was a mural made by Bob Ross, who of a battle that happened in episode 1, where they saved the town. But Varys was not part of that group. And Varys walks out, and as you're walking out, it's almost like, you know that moment where you open the door and someone else is like pushing the door open, and it's like kind of a jarring moment? You have that moment, but it's you and Uthal, so you're like going to open the door and Uthal's going to push the door.
Is Roxy with him still?
Yep, Roxy's like right behind him.
Alright. In quick passing, I'll just say, I'll see you tomorrow morning at the place in Uthal.
That sounds good. Perhaps
I've
we could
arranged
take
for
care.
Ardoth to tag along as well.
And we could take care of this dragon.
Yes.
Issue.
Alright, get some rest. I'll see you in the morning. And I just
Morning.
like nod politely at Roxy. I think, I don't know,
Nods back.
might have met? I'm not entirely sure.
I don't
No.
know. I don't think your characters have met. But Uthal has talked about
No,
her.
she's never met.
Yeah. So I don't know if you want to introduce yourself. Or, you know.
No.
Nah, I've got things to do, places to be, so Varys would probably just leave it at a polite nod for now. It's like, hello, acknowledgement.
Probably
You're there
same for
too.
Roxy. Same with
Yeah.
Rock. So she's just like, I don't know, but she'll
Makes
be
sense. Yeah, totally. So, you know, he nods, he walks away, and the two of you walk into the inn. What are your plans, Roxy and Uthal? You do see Ardoth sitting down at one of the tables. He looks like he's pondering something.
I think Roxy's gonna go over and say hello to Ardoth because it's been a while since she last saw him.
Yeah.
Uthal might actually try to
Sca-
find if she's still in the inn. Sarah Sandy.
Oh, yeah. She is staying in...
Because she was staying in my room.
Yeah, she was staying in your room. So, yeah, she would probably be... Because it is late. She'd probably be in your room.
Okay.
The one that was free. The free room.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I think you ended up getting another room, right?
No, I ended up staying on the edge of town where Varys is now staying.
Right, yeah. Oh,
Yeah, that was
speaking
just a
of the
one-time thing for
Birdman,
you, I
Rage
believe.
has joined the chat. Yeah. So you would know that she would be in the room.
Okay. Uthal would excuse himself for a second.
Yeah, the two of them kind of walk up to the table. Roxy is like, "Oh my gosh, hey Ardoth, how are you?" And then you kind of are small talking, and we continue as Uthal is walking over to. Looks like he's going down the hallway, potentially towards his room, maybe. We'll actually stay inside of the food area or the table area, and see what Roxy and Ardoth are chatting about first.
Okay. She just Roxy kind of excitedly like sits down and is like, Ardolph, how have you been? Haven't seen you since you... And I also was a blob. That was unnerving. What happened to you? Where'd you go?
Somewhere else.
Yeah, I figured, but where?
A place not pleasant to visit.
Sorry.
Why?
What? Just curious. It kind of... Last I saw you, and I wasn't sure what had happened. I was just seeing if you were right.
I am different.
Yeah, Roxy, there's something very different about the way Ardolph is being right now. It is not the same Ardolph that you have known.
If nothing
Also,
else,
he's not talking to you in his head like he normally does.
yeah.
You do still see his raven sitting up on the peak of one of the wood boards in the top of the ceiling, eyeing you.
Yeah, she probably is like staring at him inquisitively, like, what happened? Can you not tell me?
And he just doesn't make eye contact. He's looking down at the table. For a good few seconds, he stretches it out. I left for... I don't know how long. Maybe a day? Maybe a bit less, maybe a couple of days, according to people here. For me, it was longer.
Do you take off your cloak and show
No.
her? Okay.
Or at least not yet.
Okay.
Oh. Sorry if anything bad happened. I hope it seems like the helm has definitely protected you at least.
No. Helm had nothing to do with protecting me. And he's making direct eye contact as he says that.
I think that kind of unnerves Roxy a bit. Like she kind of like leans back a bit, a little startled.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But what do you mean? You must have been blessed. I can feel it.
Yeah, Roxy, when you're near him, there's like something that's emanating from him. I mean, you know that your spells are more powerful when you're near him. It's like he's a power source or something. Something about him draws you.
Wait, he must have done it for a reason. Do you not believe in him?
Sorry, Arnath is a rechargeable power bank confirmed. And thank you, Quiet, for posting that in chat. Yes, Ardoth has Blessing of Helm, which potency of any cleric within 60 feet is doubled, which is insane. That was a wild magic thing. I was like, how ridiculous is that that's what you got? And you just had a cleric happen to fall in your guys' lap.
Yeah, that really helped in the fight when Roxy showed up.
Yeah.
Considering I did 50.
Yes, but to get back into serious character mode.
Yeah, sorry. Ferris cracked me up.
No, that was good.
There was the May. He pauses. Helm may have reasons, but where I was, Helm offered no protection. No aid.
What happened? He must have done this for some reason.
This was not Helm's hand. The things that happen, why they happen, what is causing them. Some seem to be the will of the gods. Some are definitely other forces. This was not Helm. I walked in a place where Helm would never go.
Roxy just kind of like looks down at the table, kind of looks like she's very deep in thought. I wish I had an answer for why that would happen. Clearly you've been blessed, but I don't understand why he would allow this.
Maybe it is
Roxy,
beyond his power.
you know that sometimes gods will put people to a test. To test their... What would you call it?
Their faith?
Yeah, to test their faith.
Their devotion?
Their worthiness.
And their worthiness, yeah.
Their patience?
Sometimes. Depends on the god. Whether Roxy would think that would be something that is happening here or not. But you know, you feel, you can like see an aura around Ardoth. This is something you've never seen on anyone in existence, even fellow priests and priestesses and clerics, paladins. You've never seen the type of power that you see emanating from Ardoth. And it's radiant.
Whether you believe it or not, Ardoth, but you are chosen for some reason. I do not know what Helm's plan is, but you have been chosen. Maybe this was a test to see if you're worthy of choice. I cannot say that the trials of faith are always easy. Some will be demanding and some may change who you are, but there is a plan, and I'm sure that you're a part of it. I'm sorry for whatever you may have gone through, but I have a feeling this may be for the better.
I highly doubt this was his plan. This was not Helm.
Who do you think then?
I don't know. And
At this point, I think Rock. Go ahead.
Sorry. And this is a not knowing that is not good. This is a hole, a gap in our knowledge, and we need to fix that.
I agree. If it is something evil, it must be stopped. At this point, I think Rocky's gonna kind of get up and kind of walk towards her room. But before she leaves, she puts like a hand on Arla's shoulder and it's like, I do not know his plan, but I do pray for you, and I will. And if my words are not enough, maybe my weapon will be. I will try to protect you as best I can, but you may have to put your faith in the helm, even if you may see it lacking.
I survived without Helm's aid. I will continue to survive. But I thank you for your wishes.
Tech Priest, that line was amazing. Get inspiration for that. That's free inspiration. That was an amazing line, like just that line itself. And then also you get a natty 20 from Aurora. So thank you so much, Aurora, for the $10 donation for the kids at St Jude. If you didn't know, you could do !St Jude in chat, and there's a link to how you could donate. To Right of Me are different options. Make sure you tell me who you'd like them to go to and what you would like. Was some awesome RP. Yes, thank you both so much. I'd like one more thing, as you know, Roxy says these things to you and you respond to her, and she walks away. Roll me a religion or a history. I would allow whichever one you'd prefer to do. It will give you different answers based on what you get, and this is for you, Ardoth.
Okay. And it's the same for both. Given the mind frame he's in at the moment, let's go with history.
13. You're not going to get the religious part, you're going to get the history part of this. There are things that Roxy says that you think definitely hit home for you. You do believe that she will pray for you and that she has your best interest in mind. It's something you said to yourself. And saying it out loud is the thing that you haven't done. In your head, you've thought a lot of things, but out loud, you finally said that you don't think this is Helm. It's doing whatever this is. There's something else at play. You remember something. When you were in Hell, you remembered seeing these snake-like creatures with flame about them, almost like the snakes themselves were made out of flame. And that symbol continues to burn in your head of a flaming snake. And you can't remember in history when it specifically was used, but that symbol of the flaming snake continues to burn in your head, and there's something about that maybe that has something to do with what's happening to you.
Okay.
With the 13, that's as much as I'll give you on that front.
Yeah. No.
Especially since you didn't go down the religious route, you went down history.
Yeah.
You've seen the symbol before. You just can't put your head on you can't put two and two together quite yet. But you have seen that symbol a few times in the past on things not of good nature.
Yeah. Given his mindset and his rejection of Helm right now, it didn't make sense to roll it as religion. So.
Sure. I like how Stan is like, and thusly Ardath formed this world's first metal band. Oh my gosh, Ardath would be amazing in a metal band. Oh.
That would be legit.
What instrument would Ardath play?
Yeah, no can answer that one, because reasons. Okay.
We're gonna move over to where Uthal went, and then we'll go on to the next day in the morning when everyone meets up with Varys. So
there's
Uthal,
a couple of things I want to take care of as well.
Sure, yeah, we can do that after. Or you wanted to do that tonight before?
Yeah, tonight
Morning?
before going to bed.
Sure.
Well, meditating.
Uthal, where are you headed?
Heading to find Sarah Sandy, who's probably in the room.
Okay. Do you knock on the door when you arrive at your room?
I do, just in case she's like sleeping or something.
Yeah, how many times are you gonna knock on the door? So you knock on it initially. There isn't an answer at first.
Though I'd probably knock twice, and if there's no answer, he'd leave.
Yeah, and you wait a moment, and you knock again, and you hear a faint voice in the background saying, "Who's there?"
It is Uthal.
Give me a moment. And you hear some shuffling around, and it takes a little bit, but then she finally turns on a lantern and opens the door, because you can see the light come through the door from the lantern, and the door opens. She's like holding like a robe type thing over her, and she's like, what brings you so late? Is there an emergency?
There is no emergency. We have
Did you find my
returned.
children?
We have returned from the forest for now.
They're not. She's like looking around you. You didn't find them.
We have not found them yet. We will. We did, however, find the tree that you spoke of. It has been felled.
She looks at you, her eyes widened, her complexion paler for a moment, and she looks at you and she says, "There's more than one. There's many." He asked it some questions.
We will be returning to the forest to resume looking for your children, of course. We just had to come back and replenish some supplies.
She kind of is dumbstruck, can't really speak, and she's just kind of looking down and then not really making eye contact with you. And yeah, there's a long awkward moment of silence. Do you speak up?
Uthal would probably just say, sorry for waking you.
No, it's good. I should know what's happening. You haven't found any sign of them. Nothing.
Fortunately, no. Perhaps when we go deeper into the forest.
She kind of nods and she's looking down. She has like a look on her face of almost defeat. Like maybe this is her last hope. That if the lot of you, the heroes of the town, who are slowly bringing people back to this town, can't do it, then maybe no one will be able to.
Can I, persuade her that we will get this done so that she doesn't lose hope?
Interesting.
It's up to you, boss.
Let's see. Yeah, I guess you could try to persuade her, I suppose. How are you going about this? Just through words? Is that what you're gonna try to inspire her?
Yeah.
Yeah, roll me a performance and then you can RP whatever you roll. Actually, you know what? You can RP it. And because there's potential I can give you, bonuses to that pending your RP, so.
Okay.
Speech.
Oh, this is like
Yeah.
my engineering class all over again. Do not lose hope. They are still out there. They are still alive, and we will find them.
All right, roll me your persuasion. $12. I think that's just enough to keep her from tearing up again, because she was a mess yesterday. Whenever you saw her, she was frantic. She gulps back, and you can see that she has that lump in her throat that you get whenever things are not going so well. And she just nods. Isn't quite able to make words, but nods. And tries her best to give you a little smile, but it's the worst smile that you've ever seen. But you can tell that you've done something to maybe reinstill her faith a little bit. She's been through a lot. Okay.
And then with that, Uthal would probably say thank you for being up at this time. You may return to sleep if you wish. The inn will be safe.
Thanks for giving her permission to sleep. She just kind of nods and waits for you to leave the room, and she will close the door. The lamp doesn't turn off if you do stick around for a moment.
He probably would to try to recuperate himself right outside the door once the door's shut.
Yeah, and you hear some noises in the room, and the lamp is still on.
Okay.
Okay.
And then he would probably just go find Roxy because he doesn't have a room for the night, and the edge of town's still a bit far away.
Okay.
Tired.
Yeah, you go back into... Actually, Roxy, where were you going? Because you walked away from... Ardath, were you going towards where Uthal was?
Yeah, she's probably going to her room just because the discussion with Ardath, she's it's a bit mixed, mostly because of what Ardath said and his somewhat blatant rejection of Helm to begin with. She's a bit peeved that he would do such a thing, but like she doesn't fully understand what he went through, but she is more focused on the fact that he would reject Helm, especially in front of her.
Yeah.
She's not.
Yeah, you kind
of
of
hide the fact that she's angry.
You kind of have a bond, I think, at this point, which is on your character sheet, there are personality traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws. I would say add a extra bond there just to note to yourself. I will, something along the lines of, I will restore Ardoth's faith in Helm or something of that sort. You can word it however you wish, but I think that is definitely, from what you're saying, seems like you have a bond with him. I love whenever there's bonds with characters, so I think it's always fun. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing because Uthal is walking down the hallway kind of trying to get himself together, a little flustered, and Roxy is doing the same, but like kind of stepping with purpose and kind of more of like an angry, frustrated, whereas Uthal's like a sad, frustrated. So you both kind of like see each other in the hallway as you're leaving. You're trying to get back into the area with the hearth, and she's going back to her room.
Roxy?
Could you... Ardoth? Oh, Uthal, dang it. I'm sorry, Uthal, I'm just... It's... Me and
I like
Ardoth
that she says that,
didn't-
and she says that out loud. It's almost like she was thinking of Ardoth, and that's why she said it, but she saw Uthal. I love it.
Yeah.
Totally.
He just looks frustrated for a moment, just... Sorry, what? I thought you were going to your room.
My room is occupied. I have given it to a currently grieving mother. Her children are missing, and her husband is dead.
I see.
Or so we think.
I'm totally not cheating on you. I don't have another lady in my room.
That's maybe the undertone of the conversation.
Yeah, because he's first like, "There's a lady in my room. Who is a grieving mother?"
Roxy's probably just looking at you like, what? So you gave your room to a potential widow and a mother.
Yes, she said the inn was safe. I didn't know how many rooms were left open, though. So I let her stay in mine, and I stayed at the edge of town last night.
You could have stayed in my room if you really needed somewhere to go.
Everyone in the cast is like, yeah.
I have done nothing but be a nice friend, and y'all are trying to loot it.
I know, and it's funny because Roxy's probably innocently like, you can stay in my room.
Thank you.
She nearly died of embarrassment when she learned she was naked. It's fine.
If that would be okay, I would just... I will
Go on.
lay on the floor. That way I don't have to travel to the edge of town this late in the evening.
I mean, I can let you have the bed. I would rather that you'd be comfortable.
That is alright.
Okay. Yeah. So hard to not do.
Okay, it's funny.
It's fine. No tension here. It's fine.
So you You guys share the room. Uthal sleeps on the floor, I'm assuming.
Yes.
I'm assuming he would be persistent about it. And we pan back up, unless there's something else you would all like to do. Okay.
Yeah, I have a couple things.
Yeah, I know you do. I'm just saying Uthal
Oh, okay.
and Roxy had anything else to do. I didn't want to stop them. Yeah, we...
I don't think anyone wants to.
we see as, Roxy kind of takes out the extra towel or extra blankets from in the drawer and offers them to Uthal. Uthal kind of sets himself up a bed, pulls out his bedroll, and, they're both laying in bed, and Roxy says goodnight. Uthal says goodnight, and the lamp light goes dim, and we fade to black. And we look over the top of the inn, and it's dark. It's probably roughly around maybe midnight. There are actually 2 moons out tonight. One is crescent shaped and the other is a half moon. And the sky is pretty clear, so you can see a lot of the stars. And we pan down over to Varys. What are you doing, Varys?
Do I notice the double moon thing?
Yeah.
I take note of that. That doesn't seem normal.
The planet you live on has 2 moons.
Oh. For some reason, I never noticed that there were 2. Huh.
Well, this is the first time the
Okay.
2 moons have been out in the episode when we're talking about it.
Interesting. I take note of that.
Yeah.
Apparently knowing that it's not uncommon for there to be 2 moons.
It is not uncommon for there to be 2 moons.
Okay, good. In that
Hey,
case, he
Kika.
doesn't freak out. And he continues, like, he probably has his stuff by now, and he's, like, walking to the place where he wants to set up camp. He's still, like, fiddling with the bark in his hand as he goes. And once he eventually gets there, he will, like, set up his camp. Once he's done, like, setting up and, like, stabbing the trees a couple of times, teaching them a lesson, making sure they stay away, he's gonna try and locate animals or plants again,
Okay.
just like he
Where
did
are you
in
doing
the
this
forest
at?
earlier.
At the edge of the forest?
I'm doing
Or
this
at the...
at my campsites, like between the town and the forest, kind of along the road.
Okay.
So
Plop that in
I
chat.
focus on the same adult red dragon that I focused on before.
And it's within 5 miles, right?
Yes, closest creature.
It's not exact. You don't know exactly where it is, but you sit there outside and you're kind of trying to feel where this dragon is. And what ends up happening is you feel and you hear this whoosh of wind go over you and the rustling of leaves. And as you open your eyes, you look and you see the leaves kind of floating a direction. And you have this sense that there could be a dragon to are you facing towards the forest or towards the town?
Towards the forest, because
So you're
that
facing-
was yeah.
Okay, so it feels like it would be to the left of where you are. So the path that takes you into the forest where you think the old hag is and all those creepy trees is to the right of you. It is kind of directing you to the left. Now, when you look to the left and you're watching as the leaves kind of wind through a bit of the forest and off into the distance, you see a large hill behind all the houses and further down past the town. So it's like on the outskirts of town is a hill down that direction, like large hills. Roll me a history check. I think history is the only one that makes the most sense for this. To see if you've heard of what's that direction. Nat 20.
Natural 20.
Yeah, remove one of your nat 20s. And yeah, you remember that there was this old drunk man talking in the bar to this lady, and he was trying to like talk her up. But actually, he ended up not being able to compete with her in regards to his storytelling, and the lady herself had a story to tell. And it was that she had gone down in the old mine, which is in that hill past the forest to the left that you're looking at. And she had seen something there. But before whatever this large creature was that was coming towards her was able to get to her, she was able to take something. And she took a small coin. Just a little coin. Probably a gold. And she was showing it around to everybody.
Okay.
And that's the story that you heard. So you know that there's a mining cavern there below the hill.
Good to know. Alright. After that, he set up camp. He knows he's got another clue as to where the dragon might be. He's gonna start focusing on the bramble thing that he found in his pocket at some point in the forest.
Yeah.
He's gonna spend an hour of
After you watch the
meditating,
leaves go past you, you kind of have this little spiky ball, and you kind of like tossing it up in the air, looking at it. And give me a second, and I will put this in your inventory, and this is going to be for Varys. All right, and this is from Aurora Marie. So I don't know if you're still here. Oh yeah, I see Aurora. Oh, she's like, yes. So read it out for us what this is and what it does.
Ooh, so this is the Bramble Ball. Once per day, the user can activate the Bramble Ball to summon a Bramble Companion. This companion will stay active for 1d8 hours after being summoned.
And I will give you access to the companion as well, so you can see that. There you go. And you can see what the companion is. I had to take another creature and edit it. But you can kind of you can talk a little bit about the creature if you want as well.
I'll probably have a closer look at it first before I really start talking about it to make sure I understand it properly.
Mm-hmm.
But not bad. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So it can
hide
attack and
among
stuff.
brambles.
Yeah.
Gotta handle the bramble.
The bramble.
Cool.
Yeah, I thought it would be kind of fun. It's interesting. It's a little companion pet. It has a spike melee attack, and it doesn't have very great stats, doesn't have a lot of HP, but when it stays motionless, it is indistinguishable from any other normal bramble. So you could be like, stay, and it'll stay. And it has not very much intelligence, so.
Sounds adorable, though.
It is adorable.
Kind of is, yeah.
If only Varys trusted plants. Yeah, I think what happens is you're playing around with it, and yeah, a bramble companion spawns.
At first, I'd probably freak out and nearly like stab it, but like I probably move with the bramble, and it like sort of like tells the creature to move, and so eventually I figure out like, huh?
Yeah, and it's like
does a little jump.
Yeah, it's following wherever you're putting the item.
So that's interesting. I've got myself a little guard dog now.
Yeah, an interesting thing.
Eventually, Varys comes to terms with it and is like, okay, you're gonna stay there and keep watch. I'm gonna continue meditating here. He's gonna pull out the large piece of bark that he has, and using his dagger, he's gonna try and carve it slowly, like over the course of days, I imagine, into a pan flute.
Oh, okay. All right. Do you have... So there's actually a skill for carving stuff. Do you have that skill?
I don't think he does, no.
Okay. So, I believe then you would be rolling it at a disadvantage. Because I think it's carpentry or something, or artificer. I think it's something like that. There's some kind of like skill, like tool skill that you can have. I don't know off the top of my head, but we'll have you roll.
I think woodcarver's tools would probably be the one that applies.
Yeah, wood
literally
carver's
carving
tools.
a
That's
pan.
what it is. A wood carver's kit, and you're just using your knife, so it would be at disadvantage. What does wood carver's tools use? Let's see.
Oh,
Wood carver. Wood
like
carver?
IRL?
No, I'm looking at like the skill here. Whenever
Okay.
you drag it onto your sheet. I'm just gonna drag it onto your sheet to see. Makes sense that it would be strength probably. So you're gonna be rolling this at...
I mean, it's going to be a natural 20 anyway.
Yeah, that's true. So it doesn't
Nat
even
20
matter.
for the pan flute.
I guess you're right, it doesn't even matter. Yeah, you would roll at disadvantage, so that would give you... You'd need to spend 2 d20s, but you spend your 2 d20s and you get your pan flute over time. It won't be this episode, but you will have it for a future, for whatever episode you come back on.
Cool.
And it's a magnificent pan flute. It is...
All right. And I
is
think,
there like a pan flute that you were carving it after? Like something that you've seen before in the past?
He would probably like carve little details of his home forest in there, like places that you would recognize, like a certain like ancient tree that was revered by the wood elves long ago, or one that stands at the center of his village or something like that. Little mementos like that.
Cool.
Really pandering.
I love it.
Pandering to the home crowd there, yeah.
You're pandering to your home crowd. And hey, King of Deadpool, we try our best to interact with people, but when we're doing RP stuff, we tend to try to focus on the RP stuff. But yeah, so I think unless somebody else has anything else they'd like to do, we will come to the morning when you all have met up. Everyone has gathered all their things, is ready to go on an adventure. You're not sure, none of you are sure where you're going, except for probably Varys. Varys seems like he knows where he's potentially going to go. And you all arrive there, and Varys is already ready to go, I'm assuming?
Actually, I need to roll.
What are you rolling?
To not be wood.
Oh yeah, to
I
not
am
be
rolling
wood.
for morning wood.
I was like, I don't know what to call this. I'm like, wait, I have a name, but it's inappropriate. Everyone's like, what? What's the name? And they're like, no, that's it. We're naming it that. Basically, he has to roll every morning whether he turns into a wooden statue.
It's very interesting to think about what 10% more likely to turn into a wooden statue actually means. Also,
But you're
I
not.
think this is the third day. My eyes are replaced by new ones.
Oh God.
Yeah. Your eye color has changed. So anybody who has like what's everyone's passive perception? It'll be on the left-hand side of your sheet.
12.
15.
15.
10.
Probably only Ardoth notices this, but you notice that Varys' eye color looks different today than it normally does. You're kind of like the quiet, perceptive one. And, there's something odd about his eyes today. They have a different color to them. They're kind of yellow, almost like cat eyes. They have like a slit in them rather than circular like human eyes. They're like lizard eyes almost.
Oh God.
Okay.
I think the rest of you will notice as the day goes on, but at first glance you're not noticing. Probably Uthal and Roxy are too distracted by one another. to notice. But yeah, you all meet up. I'll let if you guys want to do any RP as you meet up.
Well, Verse, where are we going?
I made another attempt to locate it, and I like point towards the hills. I've also heard a tale that there was a mine over there. Would make sense for a dragon's lair to be there. A local lass apparently went down there and retrieved a coin, a gold. Just flaunting it around. So, I think that would be the first place we should investigate.
Already formed caverns. Yes, that would be the easiest place for a dragon. It sounds like. Head for deduction.
What is the plan with the dragon?
Sorry, I don't think I've caught
Roxy,
your
the
name.
voice
My
of
name's
reason.
Varys. It's a pleasure to meet you.
What's up, Roxy?
Cool. Yeah, the plan
So-
basically is to go up to it and try to find out why it's around here. I thought at first that it was hostile towards us since it swooped in as we were fighting a giant lizard, but it came back to the town and saved us from a gaggle of gangrel.
That is...
And it appeared to be smiling at us while doing so.
highly unusual.
Indeed. Something I feel is worth investigating.
Do you think... Indeed. But did you not question... So there was someone that found the dragon in the mine?
I don't know. I don't think she ever saw the
Or-
dragon. Because she got away. With gold, no less.
Mm.
You don't steal from a dragon's hoard and get away lightly.
Unless it was occupied.
Do you think the town is in danger then?
This town has always been in danger, let's face it. But I want to find out if the dragon is going to be a danger or if it might be a potential ally.
Do we not already know the answer to
I
that?
suppose it's
It hasn't wiped us out yet, but neither has the forest. They're both close.
I mean, either way,
Those
the
of
dragon...
you who have seen the dragon have only seen the dragon aid you. Whether you bring that
Varys
up
is still
in this
suspicious.
conversation or not is up to you.
Sure, in this group, it's only
Either
Varys.
way,
who's
a
seen the
dragon-
I mean, I've been there like all the times it's been. It's only been in a town like twice. Once with the T-Rex and once with the.
There might be a
with the gangrels.
reason why you're always there.
Yeah, I
Wink,
know. I know.
Wink, nudge, nudge.
Also, I want to say thank you, old Mr. Frodo, and noted.
Oh,
Oh
no.
boy.
Oh no.
All right.
Well, yeah, either way, best figure out if this dragon is friendly or if we're gonna have to deal with it soon.
Indeed.
Right,
Yeah, let's be on
contact
our
you.
way then.
Yes, let's go.
What kind of dragon is it, by the way?
It's an adult red dragon. It hasn't flown over me in
Okay.
quite the way yet that I was able to determine if it's a he or a she. I have a suspicion it might be a she, but we're gonna have to carefully ask that question when we get there.
Yeah. Wait, why were you looking there?
I didn't get a chance to look there.
Everyone's really mature here. All the little snicker.
We're all adults, it's fine.
At least we think we are.
He's got nothing.